Hi, today we are going to be creating these beautiful potted plants with leaves and roses. So the first step would be to create the base pot of both of them. So I'm just creating a very light outline of these pots. The first one is curved one. The second one is going to be like a trapezium. I'm not going to create the outline of the leaves and the flowers. You could if you really want it. I'm mixing a couple of greens first. This is from the tropical palette of Prima. I find this to be really nice for creating leaves and plants. Just go with simple brush strokes. You will have to keep in mind that for this particular leaf you will have to make it fat at the bottom and a little thin and pointed towards the edge. Go with the flow and create these leaves facing different directions. I'm comfortable to do these without the pencil lines at the base, but feel free to draw the pencil lines lightly first, create your structure and then fill it in. I'm going to take some darker green right now and fill up towards the bottom to create some depth. And now we will move on to creating the color for the pot. I'm going to make the pot in a very nice blue. You can mix these colors and keep it. I'm going to now layer the first base color and I'm going to use some water to create a lighter shade of it. You can start layering it up by adding darker color each time, and I also go over the pencil lines in the corner. You can also experiment with one more style where you can use a pigment liner to create the outline of this. When you want to add these kind of lines, you can either create it when it's semi-wet at the bottom, in which case it will spread like this, or you can wait for the entire base to dry out and then you can add your patterns. We'll move on to creating the second one, for which I'm going to mix some pink and some red to create my rose color. So these are going to be like buds. So I'm creating an oval and a U underneath it, and I'm going to fill it, leaving some white spaces here and there. The best part about creating watercolors is you need to create something which looks like a bud in your own style. You don't have to worry about making it absolutely realistic looking every time. But if you are the person who likes doing that, please feel free. Go ahead, add multiple layers and observe the rose which is there. Pick up one in front of you and try and replicate the same thing. I'm now going to shift my brush, take a smaller one to create the stem and the leaves. I like to mix my colors, so I take a couple of greens normally and I mix it to create a new one, and then I add in those colors. When you create the leaves next to the buds, make sure that your bud is either completely dry or semi-dry to make sure that the green doesn't react with it and start spreading into the rose. We'll now move on to creating the pot. I'm going to create it with a nice bright yellow, layer it with some yellow ochre, and then finally finish it with some brown. So same style, you first add a layer, then take some water immediately and just spread it around towards the edge. So I like to leave a little bit of white in most of my paintings because it gives some kind of vibrancy and aesthetically it looks very pleasing. So here's a close-up version of how it is when I add the brown. Do try the same thing. You can follow me on Instagram and tag me so I can see what you've created. Thank you.